5-second board is about to be shown, so the race is going to get underway. So on the left-hand side of your picture, it's number 5, Rob Wellham. On the outside, it's number 4, which is Dan Gore. Lights go out, and away they go. And it's Wellham that's away in front, I think. Certainly is. Dan Gore slotting into second place. And some changes a bit further back. Elliot Mitchell, I think that is, in the green car, getting away fairly rapidly as well.
Clues and Morgan 3rd and 4th, I reckon. Both good starts.
Yeah, let's have a look at Wilson then. Yeah, Clues and Morgan. Then Mitchell trying to get up on the inside, a bit sideways there. There's Ben Powney, number 37, losing places rather than gaining. Then Matthew Booth is there as well in the number 1 car, the burgundy coloured car. Green flag waving, which suggests someone had a spin. Up at Wilson, and he's still off the circuit.
There was one car I don't think got away at all, so hopefully that's moving now. I don't know if you've got a better view of that than I.
Not particularly.
Right. Hopefully all is okay. Real battling though going on down there at Agostini, all behind Rob Wellham, who was getting away, I think.
Yeah.
Him and Dan Gore.
Yeah, so it's there is. Well, Dan Gore's not too far ahead of the blue car, is he? Which is the number 2 machine of Dan Clues, up from the 3rd of the grid.
His Wellham's absolutely gone from the rest of them, hasn't he? He's got a couple of second lead already.
Yeah, very good start from Rob Wellham, making up for lost time, clearly. There's the 37 car of Powney once again, just behind Booth. Booth getting alongside Elliot Mitchell, and there's one off there. That is the 66 car. Max Windhauser gets back onto the circuit. Bit of a rough ride on the grass, but hopefully, by the looks of it, no damage done. Maybe if he's got any fillings, they've worked a bit loose. But they turn their way, the leaders, this is, through Nelson now and towards the bomb hole. And so you've got in shot at the moment Elliot Mitchell chasing after Matthew Booth. Yeah, I think Booth went round the outside of him there into Brundle. We saw before the drama for Windhauser. Booth getting alongside. So there's Wellham leading. There's Gore second. Then Clues, Morgan, Booth. Then it was Walker, Powney and Butcher. So 8 cars not that far apart as they cross the line for the first time of the race. What's it going to be? Something like an 8-lapper for these cars. And there's the 2 race winners so far this season. Dan Clues and Lee Morgan pretty much together as they make their way down into the Wilson hairpin. Any challenges here? Not between those two, so they stay as they are. Now there's a gap starting to develop between 6th and 7th. Elliot Mitchell to Ben Powney. Rob Bailey, he's had a good start. He started 14th. He's up to 9th, ahead of James Hills. And Jack Tomlin didn't really make the progress. He's 11th. Yeah, so maybe just trying to run that engine in as well. Of course, it won't have been run, and he's got to effectively do that in the race here. So there you can see Clues and the winner last time out, Lee Morgan, number 56, in one of the Perpetuum Motorsport cars. He and Andrew Wheels are the 2 drivers in the Perpetuum Motorsport team. He's just there behind the number 2 of Dan Clues.
Andrew Wheels, he made a good start. From the back of the grid, he got up to 13th.
Oh, that's excellent after his dramas in qualifying and with little testing yesterday. So there's Elliot Mitchell in 6th position at the moment. Oh, and problems for number 7, I'm afraid. Out of the race goes James Hills, pulls off into the paddock there. He started 10th at the end of lap 1. He was in 10th as well, but James Hills now out of the race.
Looked like he was missing some of the front of the car, so a bit of an incident for him. There's Paul Butcher, who was on the podium at Silverstone. He makes his way through on this second lap. He's 8th in the championship with a 10 tenths Motorsport Forum logo on the side. He's got ahead, hasn't he, of Ben Powney on this lap, so that puts him up into 7th. As the field flow their way out of Murray's. There's Matthew Booth, the reigning champion, who's 4th in the championship, or equal 3rd actually, with Adam Walker, who's not here, so he's in 3rd in the championship going into this race. He currently, though, is in 5th position. Behind him, Elliot Mitchell has just done the fastest lap of the race, 152.36. But the top 6 cars, they're all pretty much identical lap times, actually, looking at it.
Yeah, all in the mid 152s, really, give or take, aren't they? So very evenly matched, these F1000 cars. It is still number 5, though, Rob Wellham in the Jedi Racing cars, the works team that leads the way, and he was just over a second ahead of Dan Gore, number 4 at the end of the opening lap. Dan, one of the drivers that's running with Mittel cars, Scott Mittel's team that he and his dad run. Of course, we see the Mittel chassis out in Sports 1000 and bike sports as well, but not this weekend.
10 minutes of the race left to go, so already about 2/3 of the way through. There's a yellow flag in the background. I think that was probably on the way out of Wilson, as we switch to see the number 4 car go through. So that is Dan Gore, with Dan Clues not too far behind him, putting some pressure on him. Lee Morgan still in 4th, just behind them. They're heading on to the Bentley Straight once again. There you can see the gaps really. Rob Wellham, 1.14 seconds it was at the start of the lap. I think it might have gone out a little bit on this lap, as Elliot Mitchell, who set the fastest lap last time round, sort of jousts with number 1 Matthew Booth. He's got right onto the back of Matthew Booth, but not been able to find a way past him, and really is 5 cars in a row, with Rob Wellham just a little bit further up the road.
Yes, that first half a lap are really good from Rob Wellham. That's what gave him that gap, isn't it? And it's stayed pretty static since then. So it shows you that starts can be pretty important in these types of races. And we saw Clues and Morgan, how good of a start they made, getting themselves ahead of Matthew Booth, and have been able to stay there, even though the pace differential is very small. But there's a challenge here from Dan Clues on Dan Gore, going down towards Ritchie's corner, who pulled out to the left-hand side of the circuit, and he swoops round the outside and goes through. So up to second now for Dan Clues from 5th on the grid. This has been a good drive from him, Ian.
Certainly has, and he's the leader on drop scores, 115 to 92 for Jack Tomlin, twice a runner-up in the championship. And he's part of the JFK racing team run by Dan Cook, former Jedi racer himself. So Dan Clues up to second place. The question now is, can he reel in Rob Wellham, who led by 2.5 seconds at the beginning of this 4th lap of the race? Dan Gore and Lee Morgan with the multicoloured helmet going through. And then just behind them, Matthew Booth. Elliot Mitchell still right with them as well. There's really not a lot to choose between the lap times of all of these cars.
Jack Tomlin's got to 9th now, so he's gained a couple more positions, but his lap time is not yet there. But let's see with a bit of clear track what he can do. Billy Stiles, the other 16-year-old Motorsport UK Academy graduate, hasn't gone so well. He's dropped down to 15th, unfortunately for him. But he has actually got better lap time than a number of those in front, so perhaps he had a bit of an issue earlier. Here comes a challenge from Elliot Mitchell up the inside of Matthew Booth. He got very sideways there, I think, but he didn't quite manage it. But this has been a good drive from Elliot Mitchell to go with these front runners. He's only 9th in the championship with a better result of 4, so it's a really good run for him.
Had a good run at Alton as well. Nikita Abramov's having a good run here as well, up to 12th place from the back of the grid, so that's worthy of mention.
Now, Ben Powney, he's 8th. That's a reverse grid pole position, isn't it? If we can stay
this is now we can see what his tactic is. Right, okay, that's what's going on there. Leaders are across the line again to complete lap number 4 now, and the gap from Wellham back to Gore will be revealed on our timer screens in a second. 2.08, so it has come down. Dan Clues on that lap as he overtook Dan Gore, did the best lap of the race, or his best lap of the race, 151.40, only 300ths slower than what Wellham had previously managed.
Dan Gore's got a rather train of cars appearing behind him. Lee Morgan, Matthew Booth and Elliot Mitchell absolutely together as they turn their way left out of Palmer, but Dan Gore still there in P3. But perhaps a bit of surprise this after his pace earlier. Look at the move from Elliot Mitchell. He's locked up. He's on the inside of Matthew Booth. I think Lee Morgan saw that and thought, I better brake late as well, and dived up the inside of Dan Gore to get 3rd. So that was all drama down at Agostini. So that was Morgan past Gore and Mitchell ahead of Booth.
It was one of those that you sort of watched, through your fingers, wasn't it? 'Cause you thought, oh, this isn't going to work out well. But actually, it did work out all right, both for Mitchell and for Lee Morgan as well. So they are now up into 3rd and to 5th, respectively. Matthew Booth in this sophomore season struggling a little bit compared to his performance in 2019, his first season in the F1000 championship. Mitchell here trying to make up another place as well, and he's done it. He's up into 4th now. He's on fire in this race, isn't he? I've got to be careful what I say, because we have had a fire yesterday here at Snetterton testing for Club Enduro, but on great form at least is Elliot Mitchell, up into 4th place now, and Gore and Booth are drivers that have lost out.
Yeah, it's good to see the progress of drivers like Elliot Mitchell up through the order. Matthew Booth was massively sideways through Coram Curve there. these cars are so fast and so small, they really do move about. Matthew Booth saved it, and now he's trying to go past Dan Gore, round the outside into Ritchie's and goes through to the Mattel Cars Run machine there of Dan Gore that was second early on, has dropped all the way back to sixth. Just makes you wonder if not all is quite well with that.
Meanwhile, Dan Clues has done the best lap of the race now, 151.24. He's got the gap to Rob Wellham down to 1.74 seconds. Not seen an awful lot of Rob on the live stream, unfortunately, but often the case when you get someone who is a little bit further ahead than the rest, and there's good battles going on further down the order. In this case, for the final podium position between 56 Lee Morgan and number 11 Elliot Mitchell.
He's late on the brakes again into the hairpin, but has he gone a bit too wide?
It's not worked out for him this time. It's not as bad as it might have done, but he is still there. Had his first win here and demoted to second after that was deemed to be a false start. It's always been one of his best circuits, and again he's running with the JFK racing team of Dan Cook here this weekend. There's the Perpetua Motorsport car there of number 56 Lee Morgan, a little bit more comfortable now in third place than it was.
He's though a bit behind Dan Clues. There's Rob Wellham, he's still there leading the way, but that gap is coming down to Dan Clues, who he's been the runner-up for the last couple of years in the championship, hasn't he? But he's doing really well this season. Getting wins at Silverstone, a couple of podiums at Oulton Park, and looks really good here too with the fastest lap of the race, 1 minute 51.24. But that is still some way away from Richard Mitchum's lap record from quite a few seasons ago. 3 seconds away from that, which just shows how well they were going back then.
Yeah.
Because these top 6 cars are on pretty similar lap times, all in the 1:51s bar Dan Gore actually. The top 5 cars all in 1:51s. They're going really fast, but how much quicker they went just a few years ago.
Leaders across the line again, and the gap's down to 0.7 of a second now, and here are the leaders. It was the fastest lap of the race for Dan Clues, a 1:50.45 that time, and the 2 leaders right together. So number 5, Rob Wellham from Ipswich, and number 2, Dan Clues from Newcastle. The 2 leaders then right together, so Wellham is not having this all his own way now, and it is the Silverstone treble winner, desperate no doubt not to be a bridesmaid in the championship again this year, that's closed right up on him now. He's close up under braking as well for Agostino, not quite to the extent of Elliot Mitchell a couple of laps ago, but nevertheless the gap has come down, and with 3 minutes to go we'll get 1, possibly even 2 laps at the end of this. It just depends on the time. We're in for a Grand Slam finish, Josh.
Yes, it'll be, I reckon, after 8 laps, we'll be very close to 15 minutes, won't we? So it depends if they flag it a couple of seconds early or they let them have 9 laps. We shall see. But Dan Clues will want as many laps as possible to try and get ahead of Rob Wellham, and Rob Wellham will be saying, put the checkered flag out now while I'm leading. And they're behind. Big move here from Elliot Mitchell up the inside of Lee Morgan. Former champion Lee Morgan gets passed by Elliot Mitchell, who's on to a podium position. Back to the leaders. Dan Clues is still going after Rob Wellham. So some real good moves in this race from Elliot Mitchell. Some real braking moves. It's brave in these types of cars. So quick through Brundle, but a great move that was.
Yeah, no, he's having a really good race, Elliot Mitchell. Star drive for me so far, as Wellham slides the car a little bit through Murray's that time. Clues set the fastest lap of the meeting here back in 2016 with a 1:50.37. Well, he's nearly onto that lap time now. In fact, as they come through, they're not quite as quick that time. Rob Wellham did his PB last time.
Elliot Mitchell does a 1:49, a 1:49.75. I said we were 3 seconds away from the lap record earlier. We're only, 1.5 seconds away now. Elliot Mitchell absolutely starring. Where did he start? He started 7th in this race. He's up to 3rd, fastest driver on the circuit, catching these 2.
Yeah.
He'd like to see them start battling, wouldn't he, and get even closer to them.
He gained a second on the previous lap. Now, this could be the last lap of the race, or we might get one more. We'll just wait and see.
We had 1 minute 51.3 seconds left, so it's going to be spot on 15 minutes at the end of this lap, isn't it?
Absolutely. So we'll probably both drivers need to work on the basis that it is the final lap at the moment, as they turn their way through Oggies and towards Williams for the final time. I think Elliot Mitchell is going to struggle to catch them before the end of the race. On to the Bentley Straight.
See Snetterton ace photographer Richard Starr is expecting a photo finish here, and it may well be that, mightn't it? Getting ready for perhaps the Autosport lead picture, if this is going to be as close as it may be between Rob Wellham and Dan Clues as they come nose to tail pretty much. Although Rob Wellham, saying that, he's done good in this last lap, hasn't he? Just to keep that gap to Dan Clues. If anything, he's pulling away on this last lap, which bodes well for him.
Certainly does. Making their way back towards us. It's into Maurice then. The checkered flag is being made ready, I can tell you. So it is going to be the final lap. Rob Wellham will not be disappointed about this whatsoever. He comes up to the line now and takes the checkered flag. He punches the air, as well he might do, because after a season where he's missed half of the races, he's won on his first race back in the Swallow Hill Homes F1000 Championship, but only by 0.6 of a second from Dan Clues. Elliot Mitchell third, Lee Morgan fourth, Matthew Booth in fifth place, Dan Gore in sixth position. The rest of them coming through now, Josh. Paul Butcher, number 42, takes seventh. And then I think we'll have Ben Powney coming through next. But a great drive that from Rob Wellham, but actually from all of those top three drivers.
Yes, it was really competitive, wasn't it? After 8 laps, so what's that, 24 miles, the top 5 cars were only separated by 5 seconds. But Rob Wellham, delighted, big fist pumps from the Ipswich-based driver. And again, it's here at Snetterton where he is a race winner, but he has missed the run into the park firmly, so we may not hear from him.
He was so busy punching the air, wasn't he, that he's missed the turn-in, but that is a shame if we don't get to hear from him at the end of the race because of that.
But yes, so he won in the wet here, didn't he, last year? So this is his first win in the dry, I believe. I think it was just that one win he had last season. So great drive from him, winning by 0.6 of a second from Dan Clues. So he was really under pressure at the end there, wasn't he? But he was able to repel the challenge that we saw from Clues, and we didn't really see a real attack, did we? And yeah, never really getting alongside. But Elliot Mitchell, he's going to be one to watch tomorrow, isn't he? After setting the fastest lap, that bodes well for him. Third, fourth Lee Morgan, fifth Matthew Booth, sixth Dan Gore, seventh Paul Butcher, and then Ben Powney on his return to F1000 action is due, therefore, to start on pole position tomorrow. And of course, it was only a couple of weeks ago at Mallory Park where he was a race winner in the Mazda 7 Series.
Yeah, absolutely right. So that is F1000 for today. There's 2 more races tomorrow for these cars. First race tomorrow at 10:40, and then they've got the last race of the weekend as well at 4:30 tomorrow afternoon. So that's the F1000s for today.
Yeah, Dan here with our second place man in the F1000. Dan, what a fantastic race that was. It was a bit congested at the start, then it was kind of catch-up time for the second half of that race.
Yeah, it was very congested. The sort of early doors, there was a whole string of us, and I could see Rob sneaking away at the front. I felt comfortable enough, but I didn't want to get involved with what was going on behind. I could see it looked quite feisty, so but if I can just sneak my way past Dan Gore, which I did 4 laps in or whatever it was, then see if we can get after Rob. But he got better pace than me, and I could catch him, but no way of passing him today.
Well, the gap came right down towards the end. There was about a few tenths of a second, but the main thing for you, I know we're over the halfway stage of the championship now. You've been on the podium in every single race. It's about that consistency that you need.
It is really. We just need to keep bringing the car back. The boys at JFK are doing a cracking job. The car keeps turning up, finishing every time, and it's not down to luck. It's down to the preparation and the hard work they're putting in.
2 more races tomorrow. It's going to be exciting and lots to look forward to.
Yeah, I can't wait. We've had good pace this weekend. I'm really happy. So yeah, we'll sleep well tonight and go again in the morning.
Good stuff. Well done, Dan. Thank you very much, and good luck for tomorrow's race as well. So there we go. Our second place man, Dan Clues, doing well in the championship and this race. Rob Wellham goes round with his first win of the season. We'll hopefully hear from him tomorrow if he's on the podium. But for now, let's go back to racing.